Okay, page 32. I will read first. I have to familiarize myself. Naisamatistavat urkramangrim sprashyati anarthapagamo yad arthaha mayyasim padarajo abhishekam nishkinchananam navarnitayavat naisammatistavat urkramangrim स्पर्शति अनर्थापगमो यद अर्थः मय्यासिं पादरजो अभिषेकं निष्किञ्चनानं न वर्णिता यावत् Yes, okay. नैषम्मतिस्तावत् उर्क्रमाग्रिं स्पर्शति अनर्थपागमो यद् अर्थः मय्यासं पादरजो अभिषेकं निष्किञ्चनानं न वर्णिता यावत्. Okay, this is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, and is chapter 5, verse 32. Okay. So, those who are online, if anybody is there, so I am reading this verse again. Okay. नैषम्मतिस्तावद्वुर्क्रमाग्रिं स्पर्शति अनर्थपागमो यद् अर्थः मय्यासं पादरजो अभिषेकं निष्किञ्चनानं न वर्णिता यावत्. Okay, and now we'll read for word. You don't have a cell phone, right? Otherwise we can. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, all right. I will read word for word. Na, not. Yesham, of this. Matihi, the consciousness. Tavat, that long. Urukrama Angrim, the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is famous for performing uncommon activities. Sparshati, does touch. Anartha, of unwanted things. Apagamaha, the disappearance. Yat, of which. Arthaha, the purpose. Moyasam, of the great souls, the Mahatmas, our devotees. Padarajaha, by the dust of the lotus feet. Abhishekam, consecration. Nishkinchananam, of devotees who have nothing to do with the material world. Na, not. Varnita, may accept. Yavat, as long as. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contamination, persons very much inclined towards materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, in this way can one be freed from material contaminations. Okay, I will read again. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contaminations. A person Persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, in this way can one be freed from material contaminations. Okay. Purport: becoming Krishna conscious brings about anartha apagamaha. Anartha apagamaha. The disappearance of all anarthas, the miserable condition we have unnecessarily accepted. The material body is the basic principle of these unwanted miserable conditions. The entire Vedic civilization is meant to relieve one from these unwanted miseries. But persons bound by the laws of nature do not know the destination of life. As described in the previous verse, Isha Tantriyam Uru Damani Buddha, they are conditioned by the three strong modes of material nature. The education that keeps the conditioned soul bound life after life is called materialistic education. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura has explained that materialistic education expands the influence of Maya. Such an education induces the conditioned soul to be increasingly attracted to materialistic life and to stay further and further away from liberation from unwanted miseries. Oh, it's a long purport. One may ask why highly educated persons do not take to Krishna consciousness. The reason is explained in this verse. Unless one takes shelter of a bona fide, fully Krishna conscious spiritual master, there is no chance of understanding Krishna. The educators, scholars, and big political leaders, worshipped by millions of people, cannot understand the goal of life and take to Krishna consciousness, for they have not accepted a bona fide spiritual master and the Vedas. Therefore, in the Mundaka Upanishad 3.2.3, it is said, Nayam Atma Pravachanena Labhyo no Medaya. And Medaya na bahuna srutena. One cannot become self-realized simply by having an academic education, by presenting lectures in an erudite, very erudite, way is pravachanena labhyaha, or by being an intelligent scientist who discovers many wonderful things. One cannot understand Krishna unless one is graced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only one who has surrendered to a pure devotee of Krishna and taken the dust of his lotus feet can understand Krishna. First, one must understand how to get out of the clutches of Maya. The only means is to become Krishna conscious. And to become Krishna conscious very easily, one must take shelter of a realized soul, a Mahat, our Mahatma, whose only interest is to engage in the service of the Supreme Lord. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9.1.3, Mahatmanastu mam partha Devyam prakritim astritaha bhajanti ananya manaso jnatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pratha, those who are not deluded The great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Therefore, to end the unwanted miseries of life, one must become a devotee. Yashaisti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair tatra samasate suraha. One who is unflinching devotional faith in Krishna consistently manifests all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods. Bhagavatam 5:18-12. Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tata guru tasyaite kadita hi artha prakashante mahatmanah. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Shetwastara Upanishad 6:23. Yam evaisya vrunute tena labhyas tasyaisha atma vivarnute tanum swam. The Lord is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. To such a person, he manifests his own form. Mundaka Upanishad 3:2-3. These are Vedic injunctions. One must take shelter of a self-realized spiritual master, not a materially educated scholar or politician. One must take shelter of a niskinchana, a person engaged in devotional service and free from material contaminations. That is the way to return home back to Godhead. Okay, correct. Okay, this is it's a long purport by Srila Prabhupada and this excellent verse. Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jananjana Salakayam Chakshurulmittamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devam Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gauratvishe Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Padagamalam Sri Gurun Vaisnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatanavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam Cham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यः च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमस्ते ओम हे कृष्ण करुण सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते हे कृष्ण करुण सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यः च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः वाञ्छा वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यः च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यः च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण. Okay, so this is a very important verse. This, of course, this all the verses in this particular chapter are very important. This is the teaching of Prahlad Maharaj. The entire Hare Krishna movement based on the teaching of Prahlad Maharaj. So this particular chapter, all the verses are so important because it's a teaching by Prahlad Maharaj to understand the human beings, what we are. So human beings are in two parts actually. One is material part, one is spiritual part. This particular body is a material part, and the living entity who is inside this body is not part of this body, he is separate. He is a spiritual entity, entirely different from. And here, because the living entity is time immemorial, it is living in this material body. Because he is attached to the material body, he is identifying with the material body. So we are, although we are spirit souls separate from the material body, since we have been associated millions and millions of lifetimes, because we are ananta, we are ever existing, all the time we existed, and we are going to exist also in the future. There's never a time we are not there. We are there all the time, but we are in different body. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, so Krishna said, I taught this Bhagavad Gita, same Bhagavad Gita which I am teaching you, billions of years ago to sun god Ivaswan. So Arjuna was perplexed. Krishna is contemporary of Arjuna, contemporary, and he is his cousin. So how Krishna taught this Bhagavad Gita millions of years ago, sun god Ivaswan. At that time Krishna was not there. Arjuna is thinking like that. So Arjuna is thinking contemporary how? So he asked Krishna, how you are saying like that? Because you are my contemporary and you are saying you taught this millions of years ago. Then Krishna said, you and I are even existing. We existed at that time also. And you also existed, I also existed. I taught this to him, but you don't remember anything in your previous lives. You don't remember anything. Only you remember about your present life. But whereas I remember everything. So what had happened here from beginning? Your beginning to your end also I remember everything. There is no end to you and nor is no end to me. And similarly, everything, every living entity is Sanatan. He is always existing. That's why I taught this millions of years ago to sun god Vespon. But you don't remember it and you may not, aware of it because you don't remember anything of your past life. So that's the situation we are also in. We are also don't remember anything. And not only we don't remember anything of our past, many millions of lives, we don't remember. And we have been associated with this material energy all these lifetimes. We associate with the material energy only. So we identify as the material body. We are material only. We think we are material. So actually we are not material. You are spiritual. That's why this Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam teach us that you are not material body. You are separate from this material body. Ye should not be existing in this body. Ye should be separated. Ye should go out of this body, material body. You have to get out of this cycle of birth and death. That's what Bhagavad Gita teaches. Krishna teaches in Bhagavad Gita, advises that you are not the body, you are a spirit soul. It is separate from the body. And also Krishna says, because you are separate from the body, and since you are associating with this body and thinking you are the body, so you are associated with my Maya. This is all Krishna's Maya, three guna. And also we have a subtle body also, mind, intelligence, and false ego. These are the things we associated with that. Because every human being or animal, anything, any living entity has this mind, intelligence, and false ego. That's the three aspects of this material body. In this material body, we think I am this person, and also plus we have this three gunas managing us. It's all Krishna's Maya. The Maya Devi has three gunas: is Sattva, Rajasa, and Tamasa. These three gunas manage us in a different levels. Sometimes we are very sattvic, we understand everything, we are very nice person. Sometimes we are rajasic. Oh, you want to do this, you want to do this, all energetic. And sometimes we are morose. We are we are tamasic. So you want to just sleep, eat, and all those things. You don't want to do activity. This all Krishna's Maya. That three gunas act on us. So when we under that three gunas, and we are in different situations. So to get out of this, because all living entities are like that only. Human beings, animals, birds, insects, and everything. They all have these two things. All have the Atma like us. They are living entities like us only. Even an insect, small insect, ant, is living entities like us only. Paramatma is there, Atma is there within that tiny body. Paramatma is there, Atma is there like us only. We have a big body like an elephant. It has a very big body. But Atma is like us only, the small Atma. It is there. The small Atma. It is in that ant and the insect and all. That small Atma only. That's a part of spiritual nature. It's Ananta. It is never dying. Only dying is death is to this body, not to us. We don't die at all. We change the body. Death means we are transferring from one house to another house. Because leaving one house, then we purchase a new house and we go move to the new house. So similarly, death means we just sold that house and gone, or because what happens in case of sell that old house to someone else, and you move on to you buy a new house and move into that. But that means your old body is destroyed, kalas, not, is gone. And then you go to a new house where you develop the house. It is not that you purchase and enter it. There actually you have to put the foundation and develop that. Then you live in that. So only the difference between change the house and dying is this. And you start living in that house. That's how actually after death, that Atma goes into a womb, and in the womb of a mother, new mother, and then it develops its material body. And then it comes out because it remains in the mother's womb for so many time limits. Depends upon what kind of body is. Human being, it may be 9 months, 10 months, and other animals or any different time limits are there. Within that time limit, it remains in mother's womb. Like birds and all those who give eggs and all those things, it remains in the egg. When it is egg is sprouted, at that time the tiny living entity comes out. So similarly, new body is developed. Like moving the house, changing the new house, not directly entering. You don't have a ready house. You have to develop that house, and that arrangement is made by the material nature. What kind of material body you are going to get next depends upon the karma what we did. Accordingly, whatever the karma we did, good, bad, or anything, accordingly we get the new life. New mother, new father, new situation, everything new. So different somewhere else. You may come to the same family, depends on what actually your relation. What that's called run. The run, suppose you have to whatever material benefits you get in this particular family, if you are not repaid it, then you would come back to the same family to repay it. So this repaying is always there. So it's existing. So all this living entity, we come in contact in every today life, everyday life. Some living entity may be new, some living entity may be previous. We don't know, but they are in new body. So it may be in our parents or anything, our friends or the previous life or friends or anything, but they are in new body. They also don't know us. We also don't know them. So all our relations now, whatever the present, there may be new living entities associating with us, and there may be the old living entities with whom we had the transaction earlier, which we have to repay or take services. Sometimes we become parents and our children do a lot of service and all those things. Maybe in previous life, they did, we did a lot of service to them, they are repaying it. So these are the transactions going on when we are in material life. Now, how we get out of this cycle of birth and death? Because otherwise we remain in the material world. There is 1/3 is this material world. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, only 1/3 is this material world, and 3/4 is the spiritual world. Spiritual world means we are associating with Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead in different forms in Vaikuntha planets. And these are all material planets. Swargaloka and Indraloka, Satyaloka, these are all material planets. This is a material world where you have to accept a material body. And actually in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha Loka, our body is spiritual. It looks like Krishna only. Like in any Vaikuntha Loka, there are 400 Vishnus. You can't find out who is Vishnu and who is not Vishnu. It's a 400. Everybody 400 and everybody takes, all the living entities are like that. And in the material world, the living entities are different. 8,400,000 forms, different bodies, different types. So that's the difference between Vaikuntha Loka and the material world. This, Bhuloka and Swargaloka or any Loka. In Swargalokas, like, all the living entities are very opulent. Like Indra, Chandra, and they are very opulent. They have a lot of powers. And we, human beings in this Earth planet are combination of both good and bad deeds. That's why we are in this material world, good deeds and bad deeds. So we did good deeds and bad deeds. When we do good deeds, we go to, Swargaloka, in Indraloka, Chandraloka, there we'll enjoy whatever the good deeds we did. When that is finished, we come back to this material world again, come back. All those is finished, like, earning money and keeping it, like in a retirement. For retirement, we keep so much of money and, we retire. Then when that all exhausted, class, then like Surgaloka is like that. In going to Indraloka or there enjoy all whatever punya good things we did, then we come back this material world, then take birth again as human being or whatever, depends upon. And whatever bad deeds we did, accordingly we go to, that's Narakaloka, where, all those sufferings, we'll suffer in that. After suffering is over, then again we come to this material world and then we take birth again here in the material world. So this, and those who are combination, good deeds and bad deeds, both are there, and who's, equal, then we get human life. And in the human life also, sometimes we suffer, sometimes we are happy, and all these are going on. This is a cycle of birth and death. Cycle of birth and death. We never die, but we feel it is a death.